I'd like you to just do some introspection for a moment and to think a little deeply. Think about the choices that you've made in your life. For example, the choices that you make, not going to gym, not drinking water, not watching your calorific intake. I mean, what has it done to your waistline? Think about your relationships, sitting in front of the TV, vegging in front of the TV, neglecting your spouse. How's that helped your relationship? I mean, do you arrange a date night? Do you think about making time to spend with your important other? What about your career? Are you completely satisfied with your career? Are you completely satisfied that you're doing the best that you can? For example, are you educating yourself as much as you could? Are you delivering the kind of performance that you think is your best? What about your finances? Are you happy with your finances? Are you comfortable that you've been spending less than you're earning, that you've been investing properly? Are your finances, I mean, how soon are you going to be financially independent, for example? What about your sales success? Have you invested enough time into developing, expanding, becoming the best salesperson you can possibly become? And then your spiritual wellness. I mean, where are you at? Is your spiritual wellness on track? I want you to think a little for a moment and to say, what is it going to take to improve in all of those areas? And just, I think the best option here is to give you an example. So I want you to meet three friends, John, Peter, and Martin. Now, all three of them, their lives are identical as they finish varsity. All three of them are university graduates, finished the same degree at the same university, did about the same. They start a career as a sales professional. They're both married, and they start off earning about 100,000 Rand a year. I want you to first of all meet John. Now John decides to make a few wiser choices, and as far as his health's concerned, he decides to reduce his daily calorific intake by about 150 calories a day. It's negligible. It's about a single can of Coke. He also decides to drink an additional 2 liters of water just to, energize his body. He also buys a fitness tracker and parks a little bit further away. Every day he doesn't park right at the door, but rather parks a little further away at shopping centers and customers, etc. And he manages to increase his number of steps that he takes by a measly 2,000 steps a day. As far as his lifelong learning, because obviously he wants to learn, he wants to become the best version of himself, he commits to 30 minutes a day. So he presses that snooze button in the morning. He presses it 3 times. And during that time, he invests into himself. He reads every single day. He also listens while he's driving around. He uses his mobile university. So he drives around his mobile university, listening to audiobooks. And as far as his sales success is concerned, he does something simple. All he does is he decides he's going to make 1 extra call every single day. Just 1 call. So when he's done for the day, he says, you know what, I'm going to do 1 more call. And then as far as his relationships are concerned, he goes, you know what, why don't I invest a little bit of time into a date night? Let's make sure that I don't neglect my spouse. Let's make sure that I give her the kind of attention that she deserves. And most importantly, we spend some quality time together every single week. Well, what that did was obviously put him in a whole lot better position. And then of course I want you to meet Peter. Now Peter is just Mr. Average. He's decided he's just going to keep everything the same. He's not going to read any more books. He's not going to increase his calorific intake. Not going to exercise more. He's not going to work on his relationship. He's just going to be average old Peter. And then of course we need to meet Martin. Now Martin on the other side does exactly opposite of his friend John. What he decides to do is he increases his calorific count by 150 calories a day. I mean, he's finished varsity now. I mean, he's all grown up and stuff. Why can't he? So he increases his calorific intake by 150 calories. He misses a few workouts every week. I mean, it's not going to hurt anybody. I mean, at first you're not even going to notice a change. Obviously, he doesn't want to drink water. Who wants to drink water? And he drinks loads and loads of diet cold drinks. As far as his lifelong learning is concerned, well, he presses the snooze button and he gets an extra 10, 20, 30 minutes of sleep every day. Wow, you can imagine how that's going to change his life 5 years from now. He also listens to the radio as he drives around, and he kind of tunes out and he doesn't focus on his success. And then as far as his sales success is concerned, he makes one less sales call a day. You know what it's like. You get to call number 5, and who wants to do that hard call number 6? So just one less call a day. I mean, surely that's not going to affect his results in any way. And then, of course, as far as his relationship's concerned, I mean, it's ridiculous how his spouse comes and she irritates him while he's busy watching the rugby. It's just crazy. He starts neglecting his partner. Now, here's the thing that you need to consider. You know, for the first 5 months, I mean, it's just amazing. Small little incremental changes. You're not even going to see a change. The 3 of them are going to pretty much just be identical. But amazing things start to happen. As soon as time progresses, remember, doing small, tiny little incremental changes, you don't see massive results. But over time, they accumulate and they add up. So after 10 months, yeah, you can start to see, you know, John starting to look a bit sharper. His waist is a little better. He's not quite hanging over the belt. And then, of course, you got Martin. There's old Martin. He's feeling it. He's kind of opened his belt one buckle. I mean, it's really not a big deal. No one's really seen any major changes yet. But this is where things really start to happen. As time progresses, after about 20 months, it's around 2 years. I mean, 2 years, it's very little has changed. And you know what it's like when you're experiencing tiny, small, incremental changes on an ongoing basis, you don't even feel it. But here's where the real magic starts to happen. When we look after 36 months, so this is like 3 years. 3 years is a long time. But 3 years later, there has been massive changes. For example, John, and I mean, all John did was he decreased his calorific intake by 150 calories a day. But the cumulative effect of that over 3 years has added up to about 4.5 kilograms in weight that he saved. The 2 liters of water that he's drunk every day has made him sort of more energized and passionate and inspired to succeed as a salesperson. And then, of course, those extra 2,000 steps that he took a day, I mean, all he did was at the shopping center park a little bit further. When he got to a customer, instead of trying to park right at the door, parked on the other side of the parking lot. So 2,000 steps a day, it's not a lot. But over 3 years, it's added up to 1,440 additional kilometers that he's walked, which helped him to lose a kilogram. So basically, he's 5.5 kilograms lighter, and all he's done is take a can of Coke out of his diet and walk an extra 2,000 steps a day. It seems negligible. And then, of course, we start getting into the real nitty-gritty here. His commitment to his lifelong learning. Now, all he did was, let's say he invested just 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day, he read 10 additional pages of an educational, transformational, inspirational book that transformed his life. Because as Jim Rohn says, it's not that book, it's not the cost of the book, the few rand or the few dollars that you can invest into a book is nothing. But it's the cost of what could be in that book. That little thing, that incredible piece of information that's going to change your life. What if it is just an apple a day? So just by reading 10 pages a day, he's read, over 3 years, John has read 55 books. 55 books that have potentially transformed his life. He's listened to audiobooks. I mean, he listened for audiobooks just for 60 minutes of his commute every day. And that added up into 65,700 hours of audiobooks. Now imagine how much time, how much energy, how much extra additional ability he's learned. Remember, success is all about making small, tiny, incremental changes all the time. And that's exactly what John's done. And then, of course, when we have a look at his sales success, I mean, he made one extra call a day. You know, when you get to the end of the day and you think, I just can't anymore. Well, he did, just one more call every day. And that added up to 1,095 additional calls over 3 years. 1,095 additional calls. Now imagine if he only closes a small percentage of those, or he only inspires his customers, or he shows incredible value, or he creates the most incredible customer experience with those additional 1,095 calls over 3 years. One call a day. Well, that could add up into significant savings. What about his relationship? Well, every single night what he did was he invested one night a week, and he created a date night. He created a date night where he invested into his... Think about those extra 156 date nights that you've actually had over the 3 years. Imagine how that's helped your relationship. Okay, and then of course we've got Peter, and I mean, as I explained to you earlier, Peter's just your average Joe. He doesn't increase, he doesn't exercise, he doesn't educate himself. He just flatlines and kind of just, life just carries on for him. And then of course let's have a look at Martin. Now remember, all Martin did was increase his calorific intake by 150 calories a day. I mean, come on man, he's out of varsity now. That extra 150 calories isn't going to make a difference. But over 36 months, that's added up to an additional 4 kilograms on his belt. Now, remember John, he's 4 kilograms lighter because he took those 150 calories out of his diet. And here's old Martin, 4 kilograms heavier. And of course, he doesn't drink 2 liters of water. He's drinking diet soda, and less water, a lot more de-energized, lethargic. Doesn't get as much done every day as he should. That's the reason he probably cuts back on that extra call. That's why he makes one less call a day. So you have a look, those extra, or should I rather say those 2,000 steps he didn't take, means he's walked 1,440 kilometers less than John, which means that he's another kilogram heavier. So overall, 3 years later, Martin, who it's just been small, incremental, little bits of neglect that has crept in, has added up to him being 5 kilograms heavier, him being de-energized, not drinking water. And let's have a look at his commitment to lifelong learning. Well, he doesn't read, obviously. He just pushes that snooze button and he gets that amazing 10, 15, 20 minutes or even 30 minutes of additional sleep every day. Amazing how that's going to change his life in the future. And then of course his sales results are obviously negatively affected by the fact that he's done one less sales call every single day. Well, that's added up to him making 1,095 less calls. And in fact, how him making less, that's almost 2,200 less calls than John. How could you possibly expect to be, or have achieved the same results? But here's the thing that amazes me. You're going to hear John go, my life's amazing. Things are really happening. I feel so lucky. And you're going to hear Martin going, oh, life is so bad, and I try so hard, and I work, and just nothing seems to go right for me. Well, nothing's going right for him because it's those tiny, small, incremental bits of neglect that add up over time. And of course, let's not even talk about his spouse. Very likely 3 years later, she's feeling neglected, there's been no date nights, over time he's become more irritated every single time she wants to irritate him while he's watching sport, etc. So think about your life at the moment. What are things looking like for you? Are you prepared to make those small little improvements? Here's what I'd like to challenge you to do. What about if you just push that snooze button in the morning twice and you read 10 pages every single day? Imagine what it would be like to read all of those additional books. What about listening to audiobooks? Come on man, just find 60 minutes a day during your commute, stick in an educational, transformational, amazing book that is going to change your life. Listen to it. Average person spends about 500 hours commuting a year. If you just listen to audiobooks for that 500 hours a year, it's equivalent to 2 semesters at university every year. Imagine how that could completely transform your life. And all you've done is, instead of listening to the radio, you've invested the time. You've invested the time into educating yourself, into filling that swimming pool. Remember what I said to you about your swimming pool? That half full swimming pool is who you are. You attract success by the person you become. As you become more, you most certainly will attract more. And so that's my challenge to you is keep investing. Find time to read. Find time to listen to audiobooks. Find time to go to seminars to make yourself into the best version of yourself.